Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of the Oakland Warriors podcast. I'm Patrick, and this is part 2 of my conversation with Feodor Chin. If you haven't checked out part 1, go check that out next. Otherwise, enjoy the show. It's the off season. There's a lot of chatter. People need to make up stuff to write about and debate and everything.
Yeah.
But one thing that's going around that I've seen, I'm pretty sure you have too, is like these debates about the 2017 Warriors, who in the dynasty era people think are the best team because it was KD's first year.
Right.
I still have a preference for the 73 win team that lost.
Same.
But you won't catch me saying that Harrison Barnes is better than Kevin Durant. I just think that team was so dominant. But since Durant is on the 2017 Warriors, the debate who would win versus the 2001 Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and then the 98 Jordan Pippen Bulls.
Yeah.
Lakers, Warriors. What you got?
Well, first, let me say that I rarely, delve into these kinds of, and I realize, it's all for fun. It's just, but I don't know. I'm more of I just in life and when it comes to sports, I always think I'm just a real pragmatic kind of guy.
Yeah.
And, it's because if you're going to have these debates, you have to, first of all, you have to be like, well, okay, what rules are they playing by? Because, that's a big, because they're just there are different time periods, different, set of rules. And so it's always really hard to, to really exactly kind of quantify those kinds of things. But that being said, let's see. So if your lineup, it's Steph, Clay, Dre, KD, and I guess is it Looney at center, or was it still
Zaza?
Oh, Zaza. Okay. All right. And then 2010 was Kobe, Shaq.
No, 2001.
Oh, 2001. Oh, 2001. Okay. So Kobe, Shaq,
Fisher, Rick Fox, maybe Horace Grant.
Horry?
Maybe Horry, Horace Grant. I guess I should have looked this up.
Well, let's see. Well, but basically, it obviously it's Kobe and Shaq. I think the Warriors take that. I think. But see, that's tough though, because because you got to be like, well, what rules are you playing by? Because obviously, if Shaq is allowed to, be Shaq and just dominate in the paint, then you're not. Then the Lakers will win. But if you're playing by more of I guess obviously today's rules, then the Dubs take.
Yeah,
I think purely on, largely on 3-pointers.
The Lakers starting lineup: Ron Harper, Kobe Bryant, Rick Fox, Horace Grant, Shaq. The Warriors starting lineup was Steph, Clay, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Zaza Pachulia. Oh man, I take the Warriors.
Yeah.
The bottom line is Shaq is the one big question mark, the immovable force, and he'll get his. And as great as Kobe was as a player, sure, if you just don't even want to get deep into the stats, Kobe, Kevin Durant cancel each other out as just unstoppable scoring threats. And then you have Steph, then you have Clay. I'll take those guys over Derek Fisher, Ron Harper, whomever else. And so when I look at the Warriors and you just look at who they can throw at Shaq, whether it's a hack-a-Shaq type thing. You have tough-minded Zaza Pachulia. You have tough-minded David West, who will be way smaller than Shaq, but still. You have JaVale McGee, Kevon Looney, Damian Jones, Anderson Varejao. So they have a ton of fouls. Okay?
They have
a ton of fouls to throw at them. And they have a few guys who seem like they would be unafraid to foul Shaq. So I will take the Warriors. Just again, it's like you said, it's about the rules. It's silly debates. But to me, the depth of the Warriors' talent and the ability to kind of just mitigate Kobe, cancel him out with Kevin Durant, and then have Shaq just get fouled like crazy.
Right.
Not saying it would be an easy one, but I'll take the Warriors overall upper echelon talent over the Lakers. That's
same. But now Bulls.
Yeah,
Okay, now that one, that's a tougher call. I think that's a much tougher call. I think so. Okay. So that's so you got Jordan, Pippen, Rodman. Mm-hmm. So Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, Kerr, right? Who was the center? Was it
Luke Longley?
Longley still? Okay. See, now here's the thing. Well, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Because like if you talk, ooh. Because I think because like Draymond and Rodman essentially cancel each other out.
Yep, I can see that.
They're the same guy. They're the exact same guy. Pippen, see, KD is obviously a better scorer than Pippen was, but Pippen's defense tremendous, and then Jordan, it's Michael Jordan. You know, I think the only the main difference to me would be that, and again, it's because of the 3-point shooting, the Warriors would squeak by it. But that's the thing, is that it's impossible to compare these eras because, you know, back then they weren't about the 3-point shooting. And so like guys who could have developed a 3-point shot more, they did it because that just wasn't the thing that they were doing then, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, Jordan would occasionally hit some, and then obviously Kerr might have been one of the better 3-point shooters at that time.
But he shot like 3-4 a game, you know?
Right, exactly. So I think it would be a harder out, but yeah, it's I don't know, but yeah, you feel differently. I think.
Again, I was in college in Chicago, so I watched and read about this team nonstop, and even when the Warriors had this team back in 2016, 17, 18 and stuff, although people would comp them to the Jordan Bulls, and you know, Jordan is Jordan, but again, like if a non-Warriors fan listens to this podcast, it's just like they're going to think I'm the biggest homer. But again, I will go with the top level talent, right? You have Jordan, Pippen, Rodman, great, but then you have like you said, again, Jordan is better than Durant, obviously, but if you kind of give that there, and then I mean, I just like how deep this team goes. I'll take Iguodala over Tony Kukoc, you know?
Okay, yeah.
You know, like if the Bulls played like, you know, 7 deep, then they'd probably have a better chance. But Bill Wennington doesn't bother me off the bench. Jason Caffey, Jason Caffey was one of those classic 90s era pickups where it's like, oh wow, he's on a title team, the Warriors, let's sign him. You know, I was like, no, I watched him, he was so mediocre. And then Randy Brown and whatnot. So and again, Ron Harper. I mean, that's a good defensive team. They got length, and
it's true.
They have intensity, but I think the Warriors could pull it off. I actually agree. This is a much closer.
I think it's tougher call than the Lakers for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, because nobody debates whether or not those Lakers are the best team ever assembled, right? People do talk about, of course, these Bulls and the KD Warriors the first year or two. So
well, Lakers fans do, I think, but that's outside of that. You know?
Let me toss out one more.
Yeah.
Because I remember a few years ago, I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast, and this is when KD was still on the Warriors, and he was saying that I think it was the '86 Celtics had a better team and a better starting lineup than the Warriors at the time. And so I don't know, just I have it in front of me, so I'm going to say,
okay, yeah,
the Celtics starting lineup was Dennis Johnson, Danny Ainge, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish. Okay. And again, the Warriors starting lineup, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
let me just go the depth, right? The depth. They had Bill Walton, who was still a little serviceable, but he only averaged 7.6 points and he had 6.8 boards a game. And then they had guys like Rick Carlisle, Scott Wedman, Jerry Sheasting, Greg Kite. Wow, they really had a lot of white guys.
that's a classic Celtics team, man. That is old school Celtics. And so, I think you know your answer already right there. Like, there's nothing come on, there's no comparison there. You're not winning with that many.
Yeah. I take the Warriors in that. But in terms of starting lineups, you also take the Warriors?
Yes. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, even though that is, Parrish. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. Largely because as solid as DJ and Ainge were, I'll take the. I feel like the one non-star in the Warriors starting lineup that year is Zaza Pachulia.
Right.
Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge kind of fall into that category for me.
Right.
They obviously had better careers, not knocking them at all, right? Like,
yeah,
but across the board, Steph, KD, Clay, Draymond, I'll take that. And I watched the Celtics. I hated the Celtics back then, so I happily take the Warriors now. But that's so I guess, in my opinion, my unbiased opinion,
right.
I take the Warriors in all those.
Yeah, it's fair. It's absolutely fair.
Yeah. Oh man, talk about a bubble.
Hey, that is part of the. Honestly, part of the joy of winning a championship, man. You get to enjoy that for at least the start of the next season.
Yeah,
so frankly, this is gonna. As soon as I was like, this is gonna hold me over until 2023 because it was just beautiful.
Yeah, if there's anyone listening or watching and just wants to call me out, don't worry, I just called myself out, so it's all good. It's all good. I get it. But I will be happy to find people in the comments or respond to any other debates about this stuff.
Well, if you're putting these up on YouTube, I'm sure you
a couple other quick questions, man. Like, just looking ahead, are there again teams and rosters haven't completely finalized yet, and anything with like KD happening or Kyrie happening or anyone else could change the landscape a little bit. But right now, are there any teams that like really, really worry you in the NBA in general, or in the West?
Yeah.
Right now.
I'm sure you've talked about it, but Memphis for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They were a couple injuries away, I think, from like taking that. I mean, Ja he's the truth. That guy's that kid's amazing, and like a very, just in terms of like mindset and mentality, a very similar. I think they are kind of like Bizarro Warriors or like alternate Warriors. I mean, it's the same kind of constructed the same way, same kind of mentality, very defense oriented. They're a good team, man. I mean, we saw that. Like, obviously that even when Ja went down, they were still like, I think, didn't they win like one or two? Like,
yeah.
It was like, it was like, oh, this is not good. They almost played better without him because, like, the other guys, got to step up, and you're like, wow, this is a good team. So them for sure. And I'll tell you, Clippers, man. I mean, I was that was one of the games that I saw it because I'll usually go to crypto now. I guess it sounds weird. But,
we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, once or twice a season, because we're down here when the Warriors are in town, and so we saw. I can't remember, it was December. It was February. I remember, because it was Valentine's Day. Actually, we went to see the Warriors play the Clippers, and
so sweet.
What's that?
That's so sweet.
I thought that'd be a fun. It's like, it's not. But anyway, So obviously no Kawhi, and I think no Paul George either. Warriors got run out of the building. We left at like the third quarter. We're like, this is horrible. Yeah. Like that's a good team, man. Like, they those guys can run, they can shoot. Like it was yeah. I mean, and that this is no Kawhi and if they're 100%, yeah, no Clippers, man. And I mean, maybe they'll find a way to, be the Clippers and, clip it out. But, on paper, yeah, they look like I'd definitely be afraid of that for sure.
Yeah. Those are two teams also that I have circled. Like, I do think that the Nuggets will be better, but it remains to be seen. You get two max players with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. back, but I don't know if I necessarily believe Michael Porter Jr. can play, like full seasons. I mean, I haven't read his medical report, obviously, but like just the back injury and the fact that they put so much money into that. If he misses like 30 games, that's going to be bad news for them. Yeah. And then Jamal Murray, I think he'll be just as good when he comes back. But that being said, like the teams you mentioned, those are the ones that probably concern me the most too. And you're right about the Grizzlies. And it's funny because I think during the series, somebody in a presser asked Clay if the Grizzlies remind him of the Warriors, and he kind of deferred. You could tell he thought about it, like, oh, not yet. You don't want to talk about that during a series, but also there's obviously some animosity there, so he didn't want to go compliment him. Right. But the thing about like John Morant, it's like he's like Steph, but he's the opposite, right? He's like this crazy, unique talent, but it starts with his athleticism. Whereas like Steph starts with his shot. And,
right.
And you have to game plan. Yeah. And you have to game plan for John Morant so uniquely. And for a guy that small, that skinny, he, to me, is what people probably hoped Russell Westbrook would actually have been, or Derrick Rose. He's skinnier and smaller than those dudes. Right. And even to some extent, he has some Iverson vibes to him, right? But like,
for sure.
More of a pure point guard who helps his team win instead of just jacking up 30, 35 shots a game. Love Iverson, not knocking him. But, like that's what I actually wonder though, with John Moran, he's had a few injuries here and there, like just as much pounding as his body takes. Obviously, I don't hope for injuries for anybody because as just a basketball fan, I want to see some of these young guys fulfill their potential. I want to see how great these guys can be, and hopefully it's not at the Warriors' expense. It might be someday, but you just want to see greatness, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but just like how small he is and like how high he gets up and how hard he lands, and that's how Derrick Rose tore his knee. Like, everybody talked about the amount of force and torque Rose put on his knee whenever he would get up.
Yeah, you do have to wonder. Yeah, that is just the way he plays.
Yeah,
the sustainability? You do have to wonder about.
By the time he's 25, what is he now? Like 21, 22? A few more years of this long runs into the playoffs where he gets really brutal. Who knows? But yeah, definitely like worry about them because they're just a very, very good, well put together team. And the Clippers. I used to think Ty Lue was overrated, but I think I was just angry about him. Like he got so much credit for beating the Warriors in the finals, but I was like, oh come on, like just give Kiki Vandeweghe Executive of the Year. But he's shown to be a pretty good coach, and I actually appreciate Ty Lue's coaching chops. But him in charge of that team, and they have a lot of talent, a lot of veteran talent that's not super old,
Some good young guys that, I mean, it's I think they were just because I think they lost the play-in game, right? And I think they just ran out of gas. But honestly, like I'm telling you, it was Warriors full strength. I was thinking this is going to be a fun game. Ran them out of the building. We third quarter. I was like, let's get out of here. Like it was just, and so I was like, this is a legit team. Like it's
Yeah, yeah. What do you think about the Lakers' chances this year? I hate to give airtime to a team that I don't think is going to be very good, but and I actually enjoy watching them because like they were so bad last year.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think, well, obviously, the best thing about the Lakers last season was Winning Time. Did you watch that on HBO?
I did. I started it. I personally didn't like it, but that's just
Yeah,
my
yeah.
taste
Oh,
in
was it
making
like
style. Yeah,
style or the?
it was style, but style, uh, like that dictates the storytelling, of
Yeah,
course, and
yes, yes,
dictates like how you create your characters and how you depict real life people. So, but for me, it was a lot of the style, like the directed dress,
yes, yes,
quick
yeah, yeah,
cuts, and all
yeah,
that stuff. I was like,
uh-huh.
and not so
Yeah.
much my thing. But
No, no, totally, totally. First
yeah.
couple episodes, I was like, and then I don't know. I just kind of it won me over. I will
Okay,
say it's like if you feel like because it's a fun it's a fun look at that time and just for like basketball fans in general. I think it's a if you can get past that, yes. But because certainly I was also like the Ferris Bueller kind of and then everyone's talking to the screen like everyone would just turn to the camera like but they kind of ease back on that. Like I felt like maybe in the later episode, or you got
it's like a big YouTube video.
yeah, it was definitely a bit much, but
Yeah.
it won me over. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, they whether it was Palenka or whoever made that call to mortgage their future for Russell Westbrook, I mean that's a mistake that it's looking like they'll have to live with, uh,
Mhm.
at least for another year. Because honestly, yeah, if they run back what they had, I mean, like, how can you expect? I don't think they don't have a chance. But I personally, just because I love kind of chaos and I think it would be if they could somehow get Kyrie. I mean, I wouldn't say they're contenders, but it put them in a better place.
Yeah.
But obviously, what are you giving up for that? Because obviously they were already shorthanded. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say at this point. It's hard to say what's going to happen. But if they run back what they got and they don't make any significant moves, then I can't imagine they're. But yeah, and losing JTA to them, certainly was a bummer
Yeah.
because he's exactly the kind of guy they need. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he plays D. And that's what they need. These wings that can play defense and do some scoring. But yeah, if they're running back what they had, it's because I think it's been proven. AD he can't last. He can't play a whole season, and
Mhm.
it doesn't look like it wasn't that not too long ago. It was like, oh, I haven't touched a ball.
Yeah.
And
Since
like,
April.
and
Yeah.
that's the other thing, because like mentally too, you're like, I don't think he's, just some guys,
He's not a killer.
yeah, not a killer, or they don't really love playing basketball.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just like a job or whatever, or even that, like, yeah, with that's just not the attitude that you want. Out of the guy who's
Mhm.
he was supposed to take it over. Once LeBron was done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think that if they keep Westbrook, it'll just be another dumpster fire. And I've said that too. It's like about Anthony Davis in terms of, I mean, he's what, 29, maybe 30 almost. And at this point in his career, he just can't stay healthy. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
legit
yeah,
injury prone.
yeah,
And to me, that's the thing about the people the debate about the bubble championship, right? It's like
right, right.
yeah, it's a legitimate official, it's in the books as a championship, but like the reason why, I'm not saying put an asterisk on it, but I think what a lot of
I
people
would, I would.
maybe I would. You peer pressured me into it. But the thing is, like, they don't get that. The argument is that Anthony Davis and LeBron James were able to rest up for 3 months during
right,
the COVID pause before the bubble, right? But then Lakers fans will say, like, well, everybody had that chance. And it's like, but that's not the point. The point is those guys are either one is old and one is really injury prone, and they got to be 100% healed up. And that's where it's a little bit of an asterisk, because any given season, that has not happened for them.
Right.
They're injured.
Well, and that's not how it's supposed to have been played, you know.
Exactly, exactly. Again, the argument is like every team could have gotten healthy, but like these guys in any regular season, it was just like this weird advantage, right? COVID we're talking about here, but like in terms of just like looking at it in basketball terms, this weird break that benefited them more so than any other team they played against. Giannis didn't need that. Jimmy Butler didn't need that. Bam Adebayo didn't need that. Those guys needed it. And that's the argument, whether you buy into it or not. I do.
Right. But also it's just, that's just not how it's supposed to be done in terms of like it's the Earthquake World Series. Remember, Oakland and Giants, and you had it was 2 games, right? And then the Earthquake, and then you got like a 2-week like layoff before Game 3, you know, and so you start your starters, so like it completely, you know, the rotation is you're just playing the same 2 guys, and so it changes the entire face of that game, that series, because that's not how it would have been played. You know, like a World Series is normally played. You know? So that's why they won. I mean, they still probably would have won, but you know, maybe, but you don't know, because you know they got to use their 1 and 2 starters twice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's the same thing, you know.
And you know, like it takes a lot to put an asterisk officially. I don't think they ever would, and I'm not saying that they should. And like I'm joking, right? I personally, as a Warriors fan, would put one on, but like to me, it's just one of those things. Like, yes, every team benefits from something along the way, whether it's injuries to another team's best player, important player, whatever. Like the Warriors' losses were all because of injuries. Some continue to debate that the 2015 Cavs would have beaten the Warriors if they were fully healthy. I don't think so. I watched both those teams. I still think the Warriors were better, but that's me. It's a Warriors podcast, right? But who knows? That's just the explanation. That's the rationale behind it. The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially this summer. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right, make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash in. You can throw down on all the major actions for baseball, golf, MMA, and more. Plus, with same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, over-unders, and props, your betting options feel endless. I'm looking forward to all those Giants-Dodgers matchups because it's just one of the best rivalries in sports. So we'll see what the odds are for those. Best of all, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. So you wanted to talk about a bunch of haters that you say came out of the woodwork against the Warriors this year. What you got on that?
I think so, right? I mean, obviously, we were down for, the good 2 seasons there. But as soon as, we'd reached the peak, the haters, they just find their way out and just, kind of crawl all over your social media and this and that. And I had to unfriend a guy on Facebook.
No way.
Just talking so much, and here's the bottom line.
Was he talking at you, or was he just posting?
Just in general, okay. Yeah. But it would show up on a wall. Like, I don't need to see that. I don't need that energy.
Yeah, get that off my wall.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but look, here's the thing. You can hate the Warriors. It's fine. Yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely, it's a free country. You can do what you want. But to me, at least be honest about why you hate them. Okay, and this is what bothers me. And so to me, there's only 3 legitimate reasons to hate the Warriors if you're a basketball fan. One, Draymond. I get it.
Sure.
I mean, because he's that guy, and every team has that guy, that the guy you love to hate, but of course he's our guy. So he's our guy.
I hate Dylan Brooks, right?
Yeah, or like a Patrick Beverly, or obviously like we were talking about the Bulls earlier, Rodman back in the day. He's that guy, but that's his job. That's what he does. He stirs the pot. His motor's always running, mouth is always running. Fine, I get it. Okay, if that's why, sure, no problem. But secondly, jealousy. You're jealous because that's not your team, and that's a great team. I get it. You'd want that to be your team, obviously, but admit that, I mean, I wish my team was that good. I get that. That's fine, but of course, no one ever say that. And then third, you are just a huge bronzexual, and you cannot get over the fact that they beat your guy 3 times, and it would have been 4 if it weren't for Draymond nutcake. But other than that, if you genuinely love basketball, you cannot tell me that you hate this team. This team is constructed. I mean, the whole with KD, the whole whatever. I don't even get that, honestly, because it's the one of the best players in the league wants to come to your team. As the Warriors, what are you going to say? No, of course you're gonna. He's a free agent. It was fine. I understand. The hate for KD for wanting to make that decision, but I don't understand the hate towards the Warriors, because any team would welcome. You would want that guy to join your team. But as far as the rest of it, this team especially, it's constructed the right way, right? I mean, the main player, they were all drafted. They were developed from within, and then the other key pieces were shrewd, either free agency moves or what I'm saying? So it's how can you hate on that? If you're a genuine basketball fan, this is a team that's constructed the right way. It's not, it's not a bunch of superstars that, that they bought or whatever, like the current Lakers, if you're going to hate how a team, that's, and then that's the results you get though, and they don't even win, but that's you're trying to buy a team. And then who was it? Was Windhorse or something a little while back? It's it's a checkbook team or something, right? About the Warriors. And it's well, you mean that they pay their guys? Well, that's good, of course, but it's it's ridiculous to me. Anyway, you can see it got me just so riled up, because it's because you can't. There's no legitimate reason to hate on them, because they're doing it the right way, and so I don't know. It just anyway.
Well, I mean, definitely true. More success, more haters, right? And when you're back in the playoffs, it's more intense. I mean, to me, I think I mentioned this on an episode somewhere recently, but I started this podcast in 2018. I paused before the end of that season because I just got busy with other stuff. And then I picked it up again in November 2020 when Clay tore his Achilles and drafted Wiseman. And obviously that season didn't turn out well. There were a couple play-in games, lost both. But then the experience of doing this during the playoffs, let alone a finals run, was crazy, right? Because you are really, really just looking just as much as actual players and coaches are. You're looking at the other team, and you're just talking about the other team. You get to know the other team so well, and the chatter back and forth. I don't really get involved in that kind of stuff, but I definitely got comments about, whether it was the Dylan Brooks stuff, the foul on Gary Payton, the second, Draymond, all that jazz. And it's just really, really, really different. And it was fun. It was kind of fun. I mean, it's fun when your team wins the series. Right? So I can't say I know what it's like to lose yet. And hopefully I never do. But a lot of, and it's, it was so entertaining. I mean, there's so many entertaining things about this finals run, but the fact that it's this whole new generation of young players they played against, new teams, as opposed to, right, the Harden Rockets, the Dame Blazers, the LeBron Cavs. We got, Jokic and the Nuggets. We got Ja and the Grizzlies, Luka and the Mavs, and then Tatum and Brown and the Celtics. So like it's this whole generation of guys who are coming,
this postseason was really, you saw the future of the NBA, and it's bright, and it's like this.
We smacked them.
Right. Well, that too. Yeah.
It's like if it's like the you come for the king, you best not miss.
That's right.
It is funny to see the haters come back for the Warriors because they thought they were like gone. They thought they were
right. Oh yeah.
I don't pay attention. The people who don't like pay attention closely, they're like, oh, like the Kuminga pick was terrible and they don't have any help, and Clay is washed and all this stuff. I've been saying this since the middle of the season. Clay's going to be better next season, right? He's not going to age 5 years in the off season. He's going to get his mind right. He's going to get his body right. He's going to, he was thrown into the middle of a crazy season.
Like, no, I think I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's me. But just get ready for more haters. But I guess that's a good thing.
It's true. That is a sign of success. But that's the thing too. That these haters, and like you'll see a lot where Warriors fans are called, like you'll see bandwagon fans. It's like, but you and I know, man. Like if you're a true Warriors fan, man, like we've been through misery, like decades of misery, man. There ain't nothing bandwagon about that, man.
For sure,
we were there for the lean years, man. And so it's like, I don't know. Yeah. So it's just personally, it bothers me that when people are like, it's like, no, you don't know. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
You get to enjoy this now, but like, you've been through some,
Yeah. I will say though, just to be fair, like there's wacko fans across the league for every team.
And there absolutely are bandwagon. There absolutely are bandwagon Warriors fans. But that's what comes from being, when you're a winner. Yeah, you're gonna get bandwagon fans, of course. But like but true Dubs fans.
We bear the emotional scars.
Yeah, man, we know what's up.
You peel away this onion, man, and I'm just like a 12-year-old kid, like sitting there crying.
Absolutely.
But man, thank you so much for joining me, man. It's always fun to talk Warriors with you. Man, I'll definitely have you on again.
All right, brother.
So that is another episode of the Oakland Warriors podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter at Patrick Epino or at Oakland Warriors. You can find actor, producer, director Feodor Chin everywhere. At Feodor Chin, right? That's
at Feodor Chin, Twitter, Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome. And check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Oakland Warriors. Check out the website, oaklandwarriors.com. And be sure to tell your fellow Warrior fan friends to tune in and listen. The Oakland Warriors podcast is produced by National Film Society and is a part of the Basketball Podcast Network. And please do, if you're so inclined, leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify, and leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. That is always really helpful. And that's it. Music in this episode provided by Paper Sun. Special thanks to Paul Amardo for production support. See you next time, and go Dubs.